Welcome into the pit, episode number 2, joined by Drew Pavan. Drew, your first time on the pit. First of all, welcome. How you feeling?
I'm excited, Aaron. I mean, I got to watch the first episode with you and Tony, and I'm excited to get this thing off the ground because there's so much to talk about in just this state and our two areas and the entire sports scene, going from high school to college to the pros. It's great all around.
Well, I will say, Tony carried episode 1. I was like an afterthought. Tony kind of carried episode 1 for us. So we're going to be excited to get some other WALB faces in here in the coming weeks. We have a lot to get to today. We have signing day, we have Super Bowl predictions, and we have a very special guest as well that'll join us in just a little bit. Drew, I want to start with signing day coming up on Wednesday. We had a lot of South Georgia people and some people across the state student athletes signed back in December. Early signing period, going to some of these big schools so they can get to those teams and practice with them. But National Signing Day is huge, specifically here in Georgia. What have you noticed since you've been here when it comes to signing day and these student athletes?
It's awesome. That's what it's a real spectacle. And I know our stations do such a great job with covering these young athletes throughout the year, but finally getting to have them put pen to paper is really what makes this job so fulfilling, because we get to cover these kids, some of them since 8th grade, and now them finally getting the opportunity to take that next step, and we get to watch them in college. It's crazy. It makes you feel a little bit old, but at the same time, it's really great, and we do great coverage of it every single year. And early signing day has kind of changed how everything is, because I don't know about you, Aaron, but back in the day, National Signing Day in February was the day. But no, early signing day for these real big-time SEC kids, they want to get to campus early and they want to be a part of the playoffs. So that's understandable. But a lot of our schools have like 10 to 15, maybe there's some schools that have 30 people signing on Wednesday, and the top talent in the state shows.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the landscape of college football and high school football, and when a lot of these guys sign, it's early so I can get to my school. One thing that hasn't changed is the excitement that builds around signing day. If you look at just some of the athletes that are signing here in Georgia, some of them we've got to see play that aren't even in our area. We're going to get to some of the guys that are in our area first, but I got to witness guys like Caden Prothro in the state championship for Bowden against Brooks County a couple of years ago, and of course they won 4 straight. Just a freak of an athlete. We talk about guys like Bubba Frazier who are going to these Power 4 schools who play up at Benedictine. What have you noticed about the top talent specifically here in Georgia that kind of stands out to you?
Getting to see that kid in person this year was something else, because being around high school football and covering and watching and playing football my entire life, there's a few athletes that really stick out to you. And to me, it was Amari Latimer. This kid was unreal. We had him in the Troup County Region Championship game, and all eyes of the state were on that for the final week of the high school season. And this kid went off. He's a star running back. He's huge. I thought he was a defensive end the way he was built. And then at the end of the first half, this kid gets a double coverage, Hail Mary with a second left on the clock. I was like, okay, that's legit. And that's a big name. And to see him sign is really cool. And he's going to do some big things with Rich Rod in West Virginia.
When you talk about your area and being able to watch those guys, who specifically out of your coverage area stands out to you that you feel like not only has had a huge impact at the high school football level, but also could go into a college room right now and maybe be productive for a college team?
We've had a lot of great kids. I mean, from Carver had at least 5 or 6 kids signed to SEC schools in the early signing period. But I'm going to bring up a name of a kid that I really got to cover starting last year. He's a quarterback up at Troup County. He's also their star baseball player, helped them win state championship in 2025. He just flipped from Murray State, who was playing baseball and football. Talked to him earlier in the year. He's like, I really want to go somewhere where I could play football full time. And he's a freak athlete, had over 2,500 total yards of scrimmage. Garrison Edwards at Troup County, he is going to sign on Wednesday to play for the Naval Academy at quarterback. And he's a dual quarterback. And I grew up with a kid who ended up going to Navy to play quarterback, and very similar build. Garrison's a little bit lengthier, but it's that agility he has and the arm strength he has that I think he can make an impact day one when he gets to Annapolis. So that's for our side that I'm really excited to see. He can make that impact. As for the late signing period, but what about you, Aaron? Who you guys got down in there in South Georgia that really excites you?
Yeah, many of our talented guys did sign back in early signing period, had the opportunity to go down to schools. A big name that kind of shot up the board last couple of seasons is Corey Howard, who was originally at Tift County. He then transfers to Valdosta, and he was supposed to go to Georgia, ends up signing with Alabama. Interesting, long edge guy, super athletic. I mean, he was the punter. He's played basketball. Those guys tend to translate. One that really is special to me comes from Lee County, and we've seen names like Usmani Kroma in the past, who's at Florida State now, but Lasiah Jackson, who is a Stanford signee. And since I've been here in South Georgia, I haven't seen many guys that are in South Georgia want to go west and go all the way out to the West Coast. And, you know, it's a football-related decision, but it's even more academically. And I think that really stood out to me because of the landscape of college football and the NIL money and all that stuff. He wants to go to Stanford because of his education. And football, he just happens to be really good at it. So I'm excited to see him. He's one of the better defensive backs I got to see play. So I'm really, really excited for a guy like Lasiah Jackson. And we have, I don't know how many schools you guys are going to get to this week, but 10 or 12 Wednesday that we have to try to figure out how we're going to show them.
It's a lot. It's always a lot because, you know, we deal with Alabama as well. So we're hopping from state to state. We're driving hours on end for Wednesday, but it's important because these kids have done so much to get to this next level, and to be able to showcase them is what makes this so special and what we do so great.
Well, I know everybody out there that's watching this will have the opportunity, whether you're our audience or TVM's audience, to watch this Wednesday and see all those signees take place. And again, root for these student athletes that have worked so hard to get there. All right, stay with us here on The Pit. When we come back, we're going to be joined by a very, very special guest who's going to be talking about some signings of their own. Stay with us. Welcome back into The Pit. Drew, we've been talking about signing day and how important that is for a lot of these high schools across the nation. Specifically in here, South Georgia, though, we've had a pretty cool experience in Sumter County. They're coming off of one of their best seasons in history. And right now, we are joined by a very, very special guest, the head coach of the Sumter County Panthers, head coach Will Rogers. Coach, thank you for joining us here today. I know it's been kind of chaotic this morning. We appreciate having you on.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate
it. Coach, I'm going to start with kind of the signing day aspect of it. You were fortunate enough to have a couple of athletes signed to some big-time programs towards the end of last year. And then this coming Wednesday, you have additional signees that are going to be signing their letter of intent. I want to ask you as a head coach, how cool is it to see these guys live out their dream and be able to play college football?
It's really cool. This is our first senior class, actually, the guys that we had all 4 years. So to see these guys develop where they came from freshmen, I mean, going 1-9 to where we got to this point right here, it's really good. It's been a great journey, so I'm really proud of you guys.
Coach, you just mentioned it. I mean, these past 4 years, you guys start 1-9 when you get to that program, and to see the change this year, you guys are ranked in the top 10. You get to the semifinals. To see this finally come to fruition, this landscape you guys set. What's that been like?
It's really just a total operation. I mean, admin buying into the process. I mean, the kids, the community. I mean, it's more than just myself and coaches. So, again, for this to change to happen, you got to have total buy-in. So, again, like I said, I can't thank my admin, my principal, Dr. Monty Dutcher, enough. My superintendent, Walter Knight. And they're big on results. What do we need to get this done? So, they've been supportive. And, again, you just kind of see the fruits of their labor now. Expect beauty.
Coach, I've had a great opportunity to get to know you, watch what you're about, the type of program that you're able to build there. I want you to talk about the kids buying into it. I think I knew from right away that this was going to be something special, but the kids had to buy into it, and they've done that. Just how have you been able to get them to do that?
The kids need a consistency. Like I said, my guy here, I don't think I was a third or fourth coach in like 3 or 4 years. I'm maybe less than that, actually. But when they saw I kind of settled in and like, I bought a home here, and they kind of knew that I was here for the long haul. And we all we talked about was this constant development in the process. And they bought into that. So again, we had a little bit of success that first year going 5-5. So they kind of saw that, okay, maybe we can do this. And next year, just, I said we took the next step. We haven't looked back since.
Coach, we talked about having these kids for the past 4 years, and a lot of them have, Aaron and Josh already signed, but to have the rest of the crew sign on Wednesday and these be your guys that have been with you since the jump, has that been really a full circle moment for you?
It's really surreal because they have to trust us to get to this process, and they definitely did trust us and all the coaches. That's what I'm really most grateful for, them buying into to the message we gave them and just giving us an opportunity to show them how to do things the right way. We constantly improve. So young Rick, really pleased and proud of that.
I know, Coach, ultimately the goal for every program is to win a state championship. You guys were a game away this season from getting to a state championship. That Hapeville Charter game, I know there's things that you wish could have gone differently, but this team was kind of disrespected throughout. The way you guys were seated in the postseason, where you guys were placed. Did you guys have a chip on your shoulder? And if so, how do you kind of carry that forward going forward as we enter 2026?
Absolutely. Guys, kids pay attention to that type of stuff too. So I would say they definitely have a chip on their shoulder. Biggest thing we're doing is get back to work. We lost that Friday. We're back. We had to away from that Monday. We don't waste any time. We will have a younger team next year. So like I said, we got to get back to it, stick to the formula. Then we had 22 seniors this past year. So again, we've been playing a lot of freshmen and sophomore to get them ready for next year. So again, they're young, but they're extremely talented. So I'm looking forward to see how those guys continue to develop. And now the standard is set. The standard. The standard is to get to the state championship playing game 15. So that's kind of where the guys are at now.
New season. I mean, the growth you guys have had has been remarkable, but to take what this team has done and what this program's done in Americus and see them progress, what'd you learn more about this team throughout the season going forward?
Learn a lot. Learn what to do. You also learn what not to do. It's been a consistent process. Like I said, the buy-in is the biggest thing. Like I said, buy-in is the biggest thing from the community. And we struggle for that long. A lot of people are doubting. So they kind of sit back and wait and see what you guys are going to do. And as we continue to win, they start to get way more involved. Before you know it, next thing you know, you see signs up in businesses and people calling and want to help and what they can contribute to the program. And that's when you got a program going. That's what I was trying to do. I'm do a program. But again, we're going in the right direction.
Coach, we're seeing clips of the defense specifically. It's what I've noticed since day one. That defense, they hunted. They were fast. They were physical. It was kind of the staple of this team until your offense was able to get to where it needed to be. Talk about that philosophy on defense and what you're preaching there for these guys to show up each and every Friday night.
Well, any team I'm going to be a part of, we're going to lay our house on defense. That's going to be a big thing. You got to be able to stop people. Offense is so explosive now. You got to at least be able to slow people down and give yourself a chance to win and play good special teams. So we've been barking at since we first got here. I think, again, it's been a progression. I think the first year gave up roughly about 250 points in year one over a season. And I think this year we were down, giving them 9 points a game. That's roughly like 150 overall on the season. So we chart that stuff and we keep up with that stuff. And the kids, it keeps them interested as well.
In this team, you guys had so much talent and been a part of this program, and obviously these kids are moving on to the next level. What about these younger kids that are stepping into maybe their senior or junior year, and like you said, have gotten them some development and gotten them some reps, but really now they're stepping into the limelight with JC gone and AJ gone and Ishmael and really stepping into the limelight now?
What's really cool about it is we're starting the process all over again. We started AJ and those guys, we started them all as freshmen. Just kind of get us, we built on those guys and bought into them. And now you start to see it happen again. We got really good young guys. Aiden Robinson, he's a freshman. Aiden Arnett, sophomore. Dayton Galloway, another freshman, really talented. Glendon Hill, another freshman. These guys all play or started some games this past season as well. We were bracing to lose all these seniors. So again, I feel like we're just starting the process over. The only difference is now our kids are a lot stronger and we're more ahead in the weight room. That's where we were really behind it in year one when we first got in. So we'll try to close that gap as fast as we can, get back to being a contender again.
Coach, you mentioned the name Aiden Robinson. I got to see him this year. First time I'd watched him, he just looked special to me. I asked you about him on the sideline. You talked about how special he could be. his physical talent, the gift he has to play wide receiver. Can you talk about what you expect from him now in his sophomore season coming up, and maybe those expectations for you are also going to get a little bit higher for him?
Gotcha. It's about taking the next step, growing the maturity. Like I say, he was a freshman last year. He had a lot of hype behind him coming into high school. So now it's learning about how to be a varsity football player. What do I need to do? How do I prepare? Things I do on a daily basis. How do I have my business in the classroom? That's the thing we're teaching him right now. I mean, the talent's there. Talent given. So I have no doubt he's going to be fine as well as some of these other young freshman guys. Again, they got to learn how to be a total athlete, a total football player now.
I mean, about this year, prior to a couple of years, was the atmosphere and the community rallying around you guys. I mean, being at that Carver game and that Hapeville Charter game, that atmosphere was electric. To see the community rally around your program and your team over the past couple of years, what's that been like?
Really cool process, really cool. Like I said, from the beginning, when we first came that first year, the stand really wasn't full. And I understand. I mean, God, you've been bad for a long time. People kind of want to see, make sure you're going to be there first for a long time before they get total buy-in. So, like I said, again, I want to be consistent. This is year one. Like I said, we turned the corner a little bit. Stand started getting a little more full year two. And then once they saw that we'd ready to take that next step, the thing packed again. It was rolling like the old Americans, as people start to say. So that's kind of what we want to keep rolling with.
You talked about some of that skepticism maybe fans had at the beginning. You were losing. It's hard to get people to come out. As a head coach, you know how much it impacts the players to have a full stands. What would be your message to the community about Sumter County football and why they should come out and continue to support this program?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, especially those playoff games. We went to Carver, Atlanta, and also North Murray. Just the fan participation and just how many people showed up and give our kids a lot of juice, a lot of energy. That North Murray game, we actually had to walk in the stadium through our own crowd. Through our crowd. It was really exciting for our kids because they got to see them, but they got to high five the parents and stuff going by. And I mean, those kids were ready to play that game. They helped us tremendously. So that involvement gets us over the hump in those tight games. I hope they continue to do that.
Coach, you just mentioned the environment really playing into getting over that hump. You guys get into the semifinal. You got to that next step. What is it going to take for this team to get to a state championship and name next year?
Once again, get back to work. Lost Friday, back in the weight room on Monday. And they just got to understand that's the expectation. That's what we got to do. If we want to be successful, that's what we got to do. Everybody else is doing the same thing. So, again, the young players got to step up. No longer freshmen. We started last year purposely. Like I said, it was strategic to play those kids so they'll be ready to play next year as starters. So, again, we got to stay the course and do what we've been doing.
Well, look, Coach, we know you're going to continue to have those expectations, and there's no doubt in my mind that the kids will be ready to go. They seem to be one of the most disciplined teams when I go out there, and I just continue to expect big things from you. I know Drew does as well. We appreciate you coming on and joining us and kind of shedding light and talking about, again, signing day this Wednesday. Can you give us a brief, quick synopsis of who's signing this Wednesday, just as we wrap things up?
Sure. So the two guys you mentioned earlier already signed was A.J. Kears. Signed back in December. They're going to Eastern Michigan. Josh Coleman signed also in December. He's going to Ball State. Wednesday, we got Amari Woodard. He's going to Charleston Southern. He played a wide receiver for us. Kendall Thomas and Don Mincer are both going to Coffeyville. And Tavion Whitehead is going to Clover Stockton. And also we got Bryce Volley. He's going to Berry College.
That's great, Coach. We're excited for all those guys. We will be in attendance on Wednesday. And again, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here on this brand new show that we're kicking off. First guest, so we're excited. The Pit. Welcome to the Pit, and thanks for joining us, Coach.
Appreciate it. I'm honored to go on.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you again to Coach Will Rogers of Sumter County. When we come back, we're going to talk Super Bowl predictions. Drew, I don't know who you have, but I might have to be changing from what I said last week. Stay with us here on The Pit. All right, we're back here on The Pit. Drew, we have got to talk some NFL, seeing that it's Super Bowl week. We're going to start, though, with some bad news, I guess you could say. Bill Belichick snubbed for the Hall of Fame first ballot. Initial thoughts. What was your thoughts when you realized Bill Belichick is not going to be in the Hall of Fame in 2026?
Erroneous. Unbelievable. The greatest
Not erroneous.
coach of all time needs to be in the Hall of Fame. This isn't even a question. The fact that this got reported and leaked is insane. You see it right there. 8 Super Bowl titles as a head coach. He has 2 as an assistant with the New York Giants, but 6 as a head coach, one of the greatest dynasties this sport has ever seen. And for him not to be in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot, insane. I don't know about you, Aaron. I haven't heard anybody else disagree that he isn't a first ballot.
It's a shame. Even if you take the, quote, cheating into consideration, take away Deflategate, take away Spygate, he's still a champion, 6-time champion. 2 as a defensive coordinator. People forget about those. Like you said, erroneous. I loved how you started with that. That is like the perfect word to use. Belichick deserves to be in. The NFL needs to fix whatever went wrong with that situation. So we have the Super Bowl coming up. Speaking of Super Bowl champions, he's familiar. I need to get your stance. Seattle, New England, who is going to win? Who is going to win?
You know, Aaron, this has been something that I've been going back and forth about all week, and this is what the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl is all about, is because we get that anticipation. You start reading a little bit too much more into it, and everyone's like, you know what, New England hasn't played anyone. Seattle's played everybody. They played great. They beat the Rams. New England, I don't know. I'm a Mike Vrabel guy at the end of the day. He's gritty. I like what this team brings. I'll give you a score prediction, too. I'm going to take New England to defeat Seattle in the Super Bowl. I'll give it 28-23. It's going to be 23-20 going to that final drive. New England's going to score, and Pats are Super Bowl champs.
I had Seattle winning, but I have a feeling you're right. 27-23. I also have New England, and they win again, and now they're going to have 2 more than my Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not going to be too happy about it. The Super Bowl doesn't get any more even, though, than this matchup, in my opinion. Look at the numbers. It speaks for itself. I guess go Patriots.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Look at those defenses, man. This is going to be a battle up front. And 2 quarterbacks that, I mean,
I don't know if I'm going to be welcome at home.
Beginning of the year. Sam Darnold versus Drake May.
It is. It's going to be a really good game. I didn't see this at the beginning of the season, but we are here now. Seahawks, Patriots. We both have the Patriots winning it. I changed my mind from last week. We'll find out what happens this Sunday, and then we're going to talk about it next week. Thank you for joining us here on The Pit. We hope everybody has a beautiful night. And remember, join us next week, same time, same place, for another episode of The Pit.